Are you a musician who's been working on a mix for what feels like an eternity? Do you struggle with knowing when the mix is truly finished? Well, if so, you're not alone. Learning how to mix is great, but knowing how to finish a mix is essential to release your music and build your audience. As Dave Pensado once said, after a while, the mix doesn't get better. It becomes different. So how long does it take to mix a song? Well, how long is a piece of string? It depends where you cut it. That's why in this video, I'm going to be giving you 3 telltale signs that your mix is done or nearing completion. By completing these 3 tests, you can be sure that your mix can stand up to the best mixes in your genre. But first, thank you to the sponsor of today's video, DistroKid. DistroKid allows independent artists to release original music with confidence. Stop jabronis from stealing your music and uploading it without your permission with DistroLock. This is a free service for all DistroKid artists that makes it harder for anyone who's not you to upload your music without your permission. DistroLock uses industry-leading detection services to detect matches even when your music has been altered with pitch or time controls. So get started today with the link in the description and get 7% off your first year subscription. The first test to determine if your mix is done is the foot tap test. The ultimate goal of any song is to make the listener feel something. And assuming you're mixing a banger, if it doesn't make you feel like you want to move, how can you expect your audience to vibe with it? Before conducting these tests, it's a good idea to take a break from your song just for a little while. This allows you to develop some distance from the piece and approach it with a fresh perspective, giving you a bit more objectivity. When you return to the mix, start by turning off your brain and enjoying the song. As you listen, do you find that you tap your foot or bob your head to the beat? If so, you're probably on the right track. If you can listen to your entire mix without anything sticking out to you, you're in a really, really good place. But also make note of any areas that you might zone out. These sections may need more attention. Your mix should guide the listener through the song without causing them to tune out. And one way to do this is to introduce contrast between adjacent sections. For more tips, you can check out this video on how to add contrast to your mix. And once you feel like your song sounds great, it's time for test number 2, sharing it with someone else. After taking a break from your mix, it's a good idea to get some outside feedback. So show it to a friend and see what stands out to them. You might be surprised at what they notice that you didn't. Share your mix in person to get their full reaction. Pay attention to their reactions and listen to their feedback without getting defensive. And don't be afraid to ask follow-up questions to better understand their perspective. Keep in mind that everyone has their own tastes in music, so their feedback may not always align with your vision for the song. However, their input may help you to identify some areas that still need addressing. But be careful who you ask for feedback. It's important to present the song to someone who can give constructive feedback by understanding the goals of a mix, as well as offering a fresh perspective. And sometimes those aren't always the same person. Sometimes you need to show your song to somebody with normie ears, someone who listens to music passively and is mainly exposed to mainstream popular music. They can offer feedback as an average listener, but they won't understand the deeper mechanics of the music. So this is great when you need feedback from just your average listener. If they can listen to the song and get stoked on it and it sounds like music to them, you're in a good place. But you want to watch out because they may just want to please you as a friend, and their genre tastes may affect their reaction. The other type of person you want to show your music to is someone with expert ears. This is someone who practices active listening. They have trained ears and they understand the deeper mechanics of the recording and music production process. They often have a vast reservoir of musical references from years of listening, and they're always listening to new music and developing their musical palette. So these type of people are great for offering feedback on the structure or the energy of the piece, and this is especially great for demos when you really want some feedback on the structure and the composition of the piece. And towards the end, they can also comment on specifics like the balance or the vibe of the overall mix. But you want to watch out that you don't look for really detailed advice towards the end of the process when you're about to release, so that you end up undermining all the confidence that you've built in your mix. So you may have to be very specific about what it is that you're asking for feedback on. To ensure that your mix is a good fit in your genre, set up a playlist between your mix and a few other comparable songs. You can do this in your DAW by volume matching your mix with around 4 references. Switch between them to compare the impact of each track. Listen to your playlist at an average listening level of 70 dB. Pay attention to any changes you notice as you switch between tracks. Does your mix stick out in any way? Does anything seem to disappear in your mix? This test will let you know. Then, briefly check your mix at a louder volume of 85 decibels to ensure that the overall mix gets loud without being harsh. Listen for all of the finer details and make sure that you can hear each instrument clearly, and ensure that there's clear separation between each instrument, particularly when listening in mono. So go through a checklist. How does your bass sound compared to your references? How about the vocals, the drums, the overall tone of the mid-range, the level of each instrument group? Can you air drum or sing along with the melody? And once again, in the presence of greatness of some awesome songs in your genre, can you get hyped on your own song? Does it fit in? Next, we're going to listen to the playlist at a much lower volume, where your ears are more sensitive to changes in level, and this will give you a better sense of the overall balance of your mix. Make sure that you can still pick out the main instruments, such as the vocals, or the snare, or the lead melody. Make sure that whatever's important to the song can still grab your attention. References give you all kinds of valuable information at each stage of the mixing process, so use them to check and make sure that all of your mix decisions add up to a vibrant 3-dimensional mix. And for more tips, check out our video on using references to improve your mixes. So with these 3 tests completed, you can be confident that your mix is ready for the masses, because you yourself can vibe to it. And you got that real-world feedback from another person. You also used references for really anything you can measure, and this gives you a first-hand comparison with the music that inspired your music. And you can use the result of that approach to reverse engineer ways of achieving a similar outcome with your mix. So let me know in the comments if you have any other ways of deciding when the mix is done. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if this video helped you out, and I'll see you in the next one.
Know that I'm the reason you feel alone, but you can't change me. I know you